All right, so today we're going to be covering HTML basics, which is lesson 6 through 24 on Sololearn. So first thing covered is headings. So headings, yes, like it shows you right here, can be used to adjust the size of your headings, but just trying to make the size bigger. I mean, you'll use headings all the time for sure, but if you're just trying to get the size of your heading bigger, then using CSS is technically the right way to do it. Is that what happens? No. A lot of times people will just use the heading tag to make it bigger, and that's that's fine, but not technically the right way to do it. But so let me just go ahead and demonstrate some headings here. So get rid of this and just H1. So again, with tags, you always close off your tag. So anytime you have the H1, you need the closing H1 with the with that there, the slash. Oh, I didn't save it. So anytime you update something, you have to hit save, command or control S, or save it for it to update. But yeah, see, it's a real big heading. And if we go down to H2, it's still big. And you see too, with headings, it's going to add space in between each one. So that's a benefit of using headings too, to space stuff out a little bit. And keep going. And you get the point. It keeps getting smaller. And that's headings. So basically, like when you're adding like a title or something, is usually when you use headings. And let's go on. All right, so the next thing is paragraphs. Paragraphs are really important. You'll use them all the time for the body of your text. The advantage to paragraphs are they add a space so after them, so that the text isn't all clumped up together. You'll see what I'm talking about. Always opening and closing tags, and then save. It's just it's going to be just regular size text until you adjust it with CSS, but you'll get to that later. And you see it also. And let's add another paragraph. There's some more text, but it added a little space in between. And so the next thing, let's see, it's not talking about breaks yet. Okay, it's talking about HR, Krazana, horizontal line, just like that. So if we want to break up our text in between our paragraphs, So let's go ahead and do that. Throw an HR tag in there. And see, we've got a line all the way across. So if you want to add that, there we go. And again, all this is going to be in the body of your text, the body of your HTML, because anything that you want printed to the screen, needs to be in the body of your text. All right. Did it cover breaks? I just missed it. No. Yeah, I guess I'll get to breaks later. Anyway, so last thing is comments. So with comments, if you just want to put something that to remember, but you don't want it to print to the screen, then go ahead and add your comment. Like, I don't know. Here's some headings. I don't know. And it's just gonna ignore what I put. So let's save that. And see, it doesn't. I refresh it and it's not saying anything there. So if you just want to remember what you're trying to do or what the purpose of something was or whatever the case may be, or explain to other programs, comments get really important when you get more into like back-end code and stuff, where other people might be working with your code. Like once you get to Python, they'll see comments. So like instead of having to like figure out what you're doing and follow the code, like it can get pretty complicated. And so if you add comments, it just makes it easier for other people and quite frankly for you, because if you come back to your code and you're like, why did I create that, and how does that go, and whatnot. So that's really helpful for comments. All right, we just covered paragraphs. Maybe now it's going to get into, oh yeah, well here now it's getting into breaks. So it's just talking more about paragraphs and then breaks. So if I'm adding some text, but I don't want a whole bunch of space in between, but I want to go to the next line and throw a break. And with breaks, they put in there the slash. You don't actually need it. You can just throw just a BR tag and it works. If you want to throw slash, but see, it's not all spaced like as if I did like a whole nother paragraph. See how it adds the line. Now breaks, you can get lazy and start using breaks instead of paragraphs. If you do, you do. If it works, it works. Like, don't have to throw it in a paragraph tag. I could just say I'm writing. And then a break or two. Some more. And looks like a paragraph. So that's breaks for you. I mean, you'll use breaks all the time, especially with you know, when you start coding your forms and stuff, just to get to new lines. Honestly, I use breaks more than paragraphs, but yeah, it's just talking about single line breaks. All right, so now we're getting into elements. So there's lots of stuff you can do with elements. I'm not going to cover them all right here, but it's basically just changing around how your text is going to look. So let's throw something in here. Let's throw usually honestly probably what I use one of the most is strong. Just to kind of bold out your text. But I mean, you can do, you know, do any of these, and instead of strong, you can do a bold tag. And just wherever it's in between. Yeah, it's gonna bold it out. And just other stuff, you know, italics. You guys probably get the point from all the stuff here. So yeah, it's just kind of styling your text a little more, but you can also do that with CSS, and but that's a great way, just using some tags to format it. And yeah, this is just kind of showing you examples of all of it. Oh, and Daddy's doing a video. Yeah. All right. And the blog part, I'm not going to cover because that's just like the quizzes. You know, you just learn all this stuff as you go. Elements. Yeah, it's just kind of talking about what we've kind of already covered, you know, opening tag, closing tag. Oh, and it's just talking about like not everything has to have a closing tag, you know, breaks don't need a closing tag. You just throw a break in there and it'll execute without having to have a closing tag, because there'd be no point in that. Attributes. So this is kind of, you're going to be starting to see stuff like this a lot when you get into CSS, how you throw stuff into your tag. So, you know, here, just everything in here, my breaks and everything that's, you know, in this, that's going to be, you know, in my body of text. So it's going to affect. So everything in that paragraph tag. And later you'll see like style for inline text. Usually you'll do your CSS in a whole different file, but you know, like right here in the tag, you know, you can throw different style stuff. So like I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I mean, that's just some CSS. You'll learn that later, but anyway, so yeah, that is, you know, adding attributes into it. So same thing, like here, you can throw in the width and stuff of whatever you're trying to edit for your text box or your paragraph. Like if you only want it to go, you know, so far, then you know you can do that. Let's go. So like, let's go ahead and do that. So your horizontal line, you only want that 50%. Where's the HR? Oh, right here. Okay, so let's just make the width. And all this stuff I'm doing, I recommend you playing around with it too. And don't just watch the video, but like get in your text editor and like do all this stuff, see how it works, play around with it so that you learn it and understand it and whatnot. So yeah, we already covered this. Oh, it's just showing that you can do, you know, multiple things. So you can add more than one attribute in there. Oh, well, this is just gonna get into inheritance, but so what's happening here, and I guess they don't really explain it, but what's happening here is inheritance. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and throw the horizontal line in here. And do a line. Right. And then we go here and, well, the text centered, but the horizontal line stayed over there. Well, that's because the horizontal line was told most recently in this tag to go to the right, even though the one above it said center. Well, sure, it inherits it, but then it's gonna, so if I get rid of it, yeah, there you go, now it's centered. But if you don't get rid of if you don't have, sorry, if you don't have anything specified, it's going to take whatever it inherited from the higher thing in the hierarchy of your code. So, but if it you know, your whatever the closest one is gonna take it to. And so like when we had horizontal line right, you know, that's right there in that tag, so it's gonna take that one first. But if it doesn't have anything, then it takes it if there's something given from a higher up element, then that's what it's going to do. So right, images. All right, so for throwing images in your HTML, all right, let me go ahead and import an image. And you can go ahead and, what is it? What is this small? That'll work. All right, so if you're going to be importing any images, it needs to be in your static folder. So just if you drag an image into your static folder and don't have any spaces in the name, because it's going to reference the name and it can't be having spaces. So like you can do what's called camel case. So like when I rename, so if I called it purple heart and had a space, don't do that. You can either add like underscores, because it's going to have to reference it in the HTML. So you can have underscores or camel case where you add the what's it called, the capitals for each letter or each first letter of each word or whatever. Do something like that. But anyway, so just name the picture like that. And then with Visual Studio, what you can actually do, so first let's go ahead and throw an image in here somewhere. Let's just go throw it here. So source, src equals, and close that. And a cool thing with Visual Studio, if you right click, or with Mac, hold Control click and come down to copy relative path, it types it all out for you. So that's all you need. But if you do want to type it out, you can always type out the name and type, but just make sure you add static, because it's in the static folder, and then static slash and then the name, and it's got to be, the case has to be correct. So if it's uppercase P, uppercase H, then that's what it needs to be. And yeah, so then it throws it in there. So that's how you do that. And this is just talking about, the location, where it's saved. But, then here, if we want to alter the image to look different, then you can adjust the height and width. Where's my, oh, here we go. I don't know how to spell. I don't even know how to spell. What do we have spell check for? And this image is going to look all sorts of funny. That's okay. Say it's not like the size that you would normally use, but you get the point. And you can adjust. So these are pixels. it's like how many pixels of the screen you want. So like change it to 500 pixels. This is gonna look really funny. Yeah. 50 by 500. Now you can just play around with it and get it to the height you want and stuff to adjust it. But then you got to take into account like it's gonna look funny. Well, I don't think they really I don't know if they talk about it there, but you can do like percentage of the screen too. So like 50%. Then it's gonna adjust that way. So but yeah, so that's adjusting the height and width of your, oh, they do talk about percentage. Okay, cool. And this is just adding a border. So a 1 pixel border. I mean, you can make it bigger if you want. You don't have equals in there. It's weird. So add a little. You can't even see the border. Let's make it like a big old border, like 10 pixel border. Now you can see that border. It's like still not very well, but it's thicker. And you can just add more pixels to adjust how much you want for the border if you want a border. Lists are really important. Is ordered list with the numbers. So again, opening and closing. And see with the list, it adds a little indentation. And we can also make it an unordered list. And then it just makes it little bullet points. And it's just talking about unordered lists. Okay, not covering the blog. I talked about tables. A lot more. Tables, so just throw in table data in there. So first thing with tables is it's going to throw your table row. So, and actually with tables, they're not listing heading here. They talk about heading later. They don't even get into table heading. Well, you can also list your heading data, but whatever, they're not talking about it, so I'm not gonna get into it, I guess. But your table row data, so like what you want, or like basically it's saying like, okay, here's a row and you put X, Y of stuff. Or like this much stuff in this row and then this much stuff in the next row. You'll see. All right, so table row. All right, close your table row. And then like I want one table saying, I don't know, table data. Oh, see, you got your 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just kind of in a row there. And like, I mean, you could add, more stuff. And here now we'll add a border. Throw that into your table tag. See, now we got a cool little border for our table. And then the column span, if you just want to have it, take up 2 rows of stuff, you can do column span. So like, let's go ahead and throw in here. Go ahead and throw that on the second one, yeah. Get rid of this one. And see, now it takes up, 2 rows there as opposed to, just 1 row. This is just talking about what I just talked about. And now there's talking about background color. So let's make the background color red on, I don't know, make this one. Oops. See what did I do? Oh, I put DR. And see, it's gonna make your background red. And so you can just adjust your table that way. All right. So this is I'm gonna break up this train, since it's a long training, I'm going to break this up into 2 different videos. So actually today we will just stop there at lesson 15, and I'll do another video for 16 through 24 later, just so it's not so long. You don't get overwhelmed trying to watch this long old video. So, all right, well, we'll do part 2 tomorrow. Have a good one.